Aries, and welcome to your weekly tarot reading. So I'm just going to pull you an additional guidance card and then I'll shuffle the decks for you. Okay, so you got the Fork in the Road card. This is a bit like the Two of Wands or even the Lover's card. There's obviously some big decision that you're facing or some sort of choice to be made about what comes next in your life. So the Fork in the Road is a really straightforward card, and you've had some flying cards. Give me 1 minute, Aries. They've flown all over the place. Oh dear. Flying cards always mean there's a lot of energy going on. So I'm going to shuffle them. I'm going to split them in 3 and then shuffle them again. And we'll try and get to this Fork in the Road. What is going on for Aries, please? Show me clear-cut messages about this decision, this sort of process that Aries are in regarding their life choices. 6 cards, please, and we'll clarify if we need to. Yeah, Two of Swords, basically Fork in the Road. Sometimes the Two of Swords, its traditional meaning is basically peace, okay? Sometimes it can be putting blinders on so you're not really dealing with things directly. That doesn't have to be a negative, Aries. Sometimes we have to step back before we step forward, okay? So there's no such thing as a negative card. It all depends how it falls, what its meaning is, but there's obviously, you're at a decision really, really clearly, okay? The gift is the Four of Pentacles. All the fours represent security and stability. Sometimes the Four of Pentacles is about having to hold on to resources. Again, not a negative because it's the gift. So the fours represent stability. The challenge is the Five of Swords, okay? Very, very, we're in eclipse season, Aries. It's a very, very provocative time. Let me carry on. Other people are showing up for you as Temperance, so it doesn't seem to be coming through other people. As other people are coming as Temperance, they're maybe quite emotionally balanced, or they're trying to regain this sense of emotional balance, because Temperance is the middle path, very much that Buddha path, no extremities of behaviour. I'm intrigued. So underneath the Four of Pentacles is the Seven of Wands, so they're both cards of protection, both of them. And there's obviously some need within you to have this protection. What is going on here? End of it, Page of Wands. Absolutely adore this little Page of Wands. He represents very fruitful possibilities and potentials coming through. With the page, one will stick out more than other people, more than other opportunities. If you look clearly, there's a whole grove of opportunities, but one wand, which is fire, which is expression, which is very dynamic, is going to stick out. So this is about new growth and new opportunities, and maybe, Aries, this is why you've got this energy of almost a little bit of protection and guardianship. Sometimes when we're in the process of decision making, you need time to reflect, you need time for clarity, you need time for, some people would say, for the whole moon to go through a cycle before the clarity and the decision making happens. So I am absolutely intrigued with these two cards, because both of them are cards of, it's almost like for some Aries, it's like, stop, try not disturb this process I'm in, because I'm really, really trying to work something out. I'm really trying to find the next step forward. And if that's going on, Aries, it's not a negative to be in this protective mode. Mm. So why is the Five of Swords a challenge? Because maybe other people aren't going to like it. You know, see, sometimes when we put boundaries down, people do not like those boundaries because you might be having to say no to something, and because of that, a lot of people don't like it when we say no. And no is such an important word to have, to be able to have boundaries, to be able to have clear decision making. So why is the Five of Swords a challenge? One card, please. It is a swords card, which means it can be about words that have been said. Okay, it's with the Queen of Swords. Yeah. She might be a little bit of an advice for you, actually, Aries, because the Queen of Swords has got this ability to detach from her emotions. A lot of people don't quite get the Queen of Swords, but this also might be a person in your life, and if this is a person in your life, there might be words spoken, and the words spoken, the Queen of Swords in her negative, and because it's a challenge, it might represent that way. It can be words that are spoken that are disconnected from the heart. So the Queen of Swords calls people forward, and sometimes she calls them forward to chop their heads off. Yeah, she's very much that queen that cuts through any crap, any bullshit. She demands a certain amount of energy, and because the Five of Swords is with her, there might be a little bit of difficulty around communication here. I'm going to ask for a solution for you. What's the solution for this energy? One card, please. Yeah, the Magician showed up twice. Don't forget who you are. Be connected with your own sense of power, your own sense of identity. It's a very provocative time, the eclipse season. Everything's been stirred up and it's quite rocky, and that seems to be particularly around some sort of communication that's either coming at you or it's coming from you. Okay, some of you might feel this sort of anger towards this Queen of Swords character, who maybe for some reason or another has maybe stopped communication. Not really sure what's going on here, but there's definitely, the Five of Swords is a card sometimes of having to win a battle. So, you know that sort of story in our head when we always have to get the last word done? That's the sort of Five of Swords energy. And it's winning a battle sometimes, but at a cost to your emotional well-being. So be very careful of dialogue that's coming at you or you're involved in. But I cannot help feeling that it might be you, Aries, because other people are Temperance. So Temperance is, she's floating in water and she doesn't spill a drop. So their coming is a very, very emotionally calm space. There might be a sense of vulnerability around them because it comes after the Death card. So Temperance can be quite vulnerable, but it doesn't tend to be wounding Temperance. So I don't know quite what this challenge is coming across at. It might be because you just need personal space, and sometimes when we need personal space we have to declare our leave me alone a little bit. I am trying to work stuff out because I'm clearly at a fork in the road. My feeling is at the end of the week with the Page of Wands coming across, the fork in the road is going to be ended, because the Page of Wands holds the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Wands tends to be about decisive action. Let me see where the Page of Wands is going. One card, please. One card for the Page of Wands. I think this is going to be about a new opportunity. You get the Sun card, so this is about illumination and clarity. But the Five of Wands also came out. So the Five of Wands is a card that I actually love, by the way, because it's a card that propels change. You know that heat that goes in your tummy, Aries, and there's that feeling of, oh, I just need to move forward. I need to make changes. That's what the Page of Wands and the Sun is about. But there's a little bit of tension that's driving the change. But that is how we change. Because the fives are stirring things up. Because they're cards of movement that leads to new opportunities. You know that state of mind where you just get, oh my gosh, I have just got to make changes. That's sort of what the fives are. But going to the Page of Wands and the Sun is totally illumination. And it's illumination around a life choice and a decision that you want to make. And because the Page of Wands carries the Ace of Wands, it's probably going to be about your own individual pathway, your own self-expression. And that's maybe why the Five of Swords is showing up, because you might have to say no to others in order to say yes to yourself. And if you've got a watery moon or a watery Venus or even a watery Mars, it can be very, very tough to sometimes say no to people, because especially the watery elements, because we want to do things, we want to be very pleasing, but there's a lot of energy really about very individual life choices, and maybe, just maybe, that's what's creating this tension of the fives. Because sometimes when we say no to others, we're saying yes to ourselves. And that can really sort of wind a lot of people up. You know what, Aries? I want one more advice card for you. I think you're going to have to wind people up a little bit. I'm not laughing, I promise you I'm not. But I understand you. Yeah. One advice card. The High Priestess. That's with the fork in the road. That's with the Two of Swords. The answer lies within you. And it might be some decisions that are based on your own growth, and that's what's creating a little bit of tension with other people. But your advice is clearly to stand by your solar needs, and your solar needs are always going to be about individual expression. Ooh, okay, Aries, I've also put the Vimeo readings underneath for the relationships for July. I've done your general reading for the month, which will give you some more clarity if you need it. And if not, I'll be back next week. Okay? Wishing you all the luck and all the love in the world. And don't remember, you're going to the sun. And when you go to the sun, everything's always okay. It's there's two cards that show up that way for me. And the sun card, when I'm doing my personal readings and the sun card shows up, I don't hardly even bother doing the rest of the reading, because I know where you're going, and you're going to illumination and clarity and life and new growth. Same as a Page of Wands. Deep breath, Aries. To your own self be true. Much love. Bye.